Welcome to Soft Bites Podcast. Your life, your dentistry. We talk about ways to have more fun and meaning in one of the coolest and most rewarding professions in medicine. Conversations on how to bring awareness, create a healthy workplace, and provide emotional insights to make dentistry a fulfilling activity while making space for one's wonder, creativity, and freedom. Here are your hosts, Manuela and George Andre.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Soft Bites podcast. Hello, Jorge Andre. How are you?
Hello, Manuela. Hello, João.
Today we have a guest with us. Welcome, João.
Hello, Manuela. Hello, Jorge. Thank you very much for your invitation. It's a pleasure to be here and talk with you about dentistry and digital marketing. So I think it's going to be a very fun podcast where we can share different visions from different areas.
João, before I introduce you, and I'm going to ask you also for you to tell us more about you, but let me just tell you that there was one of the episodes of the podcast that is still not out. But me and Jorge Andre, we finished the episode with this conversation / discussion about marketing and social media. And we said in the end of the episode, no, we have to invite someone. Yeah. We have to invite someone to talk about this because what we were saying was just based on personal opinions and judgments and bias. So I had so you are a partner in the COO. Correct me if I make any mistake, of Constant Circle. So it's basically a Constant Circle is a digital marketing agency. And I already asked you, and you're going to tell a little bit more about that. But I found you because your CEO contacted me. We exchanged some messages in LinkedIn, and I remembered, and I messaged him, and at the time, and he said, no, I cannot do it, but he immediately suggested your name. So you are here to talk to us as a digital marketing specialist in dentistry, because you guys work with a lot of dentists. So you don't work only with dentists, but you are a digital marketing agency specialized in dentistry.
Exactly.
So I'm going to invite you to introduce yourself, to introduce Constant Circle, and to tell us about what does this mean? What does this mean to be a digital marketing agency specialized in dentistry?
So as a digital marketing agency, we do all the services, and we have all the techniques to make digital marketing. Okay, so we help brands and institutions to reach their targeted audience and to position themselves digitally. But we have the privilege, I think, for me, it's a privilege to work very closely and to have different doctors and dentists who have clinics. We are specializing in it. So we know their language, we know how to reach their audience, and that gives us here a differentiation in terms to different other agencies that can also focus on different areas. We have agencies that focus a lot on food, some agencies that focus a lot on tourism, and I think that each of these agencies they start communicating in a way that they can reach their targets better, and to understand what are those institutions' difficulties, and to help them to grow and to be better positioned digitally.
Mm-hmm. And how long, just out of curiosity, how long do you work in Constant Circle? How long does Constant Circle exist? And since the beginning, did you guys work always with dentists?
Yeah, so as I was telling before, Nuno Gonçalves, which is the CEO of Constant Circle, he started working in a dental clinic, and he was the marketing director of a dental clinic. And everything went very well. The strategy was very well introduced. It was in a phase that digital marketing was still appearing, and it still is, but it was more raw. No one knew what to do. and Nuno had this strategy, and he started implementing it, and it worked really well. So everyone started kind of looking at that work that was being done as a reference, and not trying to copy, but trying to understand why is it working and what should we do in our case to work and to have the success and the reach that brand has. And so he decided to start his own project. I joined him in a very early stage when we started to understand exactly what we're going to need as tools to become strong, to can give answers in all the fields of digital marketing. And that's where we started. It was before the pandemic. It was 2017 probably, and we've been developing since, and we are starting to be more and more big. And when I say big, it's not like a big dimension, but more specialized, and having a person specialized for a certain type of service, and that can work around the dentistry area and the health area.
So let's take things a little bit more to the dentistry field. What do you think is the role of digital marketing nowadays in dentistry?
Okay,
because it plays an important role, right?
Yeah, I think it plays an important role in every area, of course, but more focusing on dentistry. I think the paradigm is changing. So before, if you wanted to find the dentist, you would look for a referentiation. You would look for a friend or someone of your family to tell you, oh, I go to that doctor, and that doctor is very good. And you wouldn't have many choice. You would go to it, and it would either be good or either be bad. But nowadays, clinics have the opportunity to show themselves digitally. And now, me as a user, as a consumer, I can make my decision informed. I can look on Google, I can follow different clinics and social medias, and I can decide where I want to go. Because nowadays I can look at clinical cases, for example, which for me is the prime content that a doctor or a clinic should share. And I can tell, okay, that doctor, I love those clinical cases because the teeth look supernatural. I love the results, so I want to be treated by him. Or I'm not looking at the final result, but I can see that doctor is very friendly. He explains everything, and I can see through their social media. And I'm a little bit afraid of dentists, and I don't feel comfortable. And I feel that if I go to that clinic, I will feel comfortable, and everyone will make me feel good. So I decided. So I think that the digital marketing role for clinics is that they can show themselves of what they really are, and help people decide if they want to be a patient or not.
That's first of all, João, thank you so much for coming, and I think this will be an episode where people are very interested, because I mean, like you were saying, some of the things that you were saying were quite interesting, which is you said it was the beginning of social media, and then you said, well, it still are, because I think that you agree that we are still riding the beginning of a wave, isn't it? We have this monster in our hands, this with huge possibilities, and we are just starting to figure out how it works. So I think it's very interesting for not only for dentists but for anyone. And also something very interesting that you said was you said that basically you classified. I mean, you gave two chances why the public may be attracted to a dentist. One of them is, okay, I want to go to the clinical case. The result is very natural, and like you said, and this is a very interesting, and I think that everybody should hear this, which is, you as a marketing agent, you said that the primest content of a dentist should be the clinical cases. That's in your opinion, but of course, for some audience, also the friendliness. Sorry, but how friendly the dentist is also something that can eventually attract the public. So the question is, do you think that all dentists should be present in social media nowadays? That's one part of the question. And the second part is to try to show dentists that are listening to this that they can be who they are. I mean, there are several ways of placing yourself out there. It depends on how comfortable you are. If you want to go more into clinical case, that's one thing. If you want to show how friendly you are, that's another thing, right? And I'm sure there are some other possibilities. So do you think that everybody should be present on social media, or do you think that it's just something that only for a few dentists, or you think that everybody, irrespectively of their financial capacity or the budget that they have for marketing, they should be present in social media?
It's a good question. I think yes, and I think you should be present on social media, even if you're a doctor or in any area. I should be more present in social media if I want to be more present, if I want to show myself more, if I want to grow. But it will always depend on your personality, of course. But social media gives us this ability where they give you a platform, they give you some rules, and you have to go by those rules. You cannot do some things. You have to publish in some specific formats they give you, but you can transform and you can adapt yourself to those type of formats, and you can be yourself. So you don't need to be. You don't have. I think probably most of the dentists and everyone that would like to have the benefits of being in social media, but they are afraid to start because they think, oh no, but I'm not. I don't want to show off, or I don't want to show this side of me because I don't need it. Okay, you don't need that, but you also don't need to show off. And I think that you can create a strategy that goes along with your values, with your ethics, and you can do a strategy where you can simply inform people, look, this is me, I'm Dr. X, and I'm like this, and I want to showcase what I do. I want to showcase what is my personality and how I treat my patients. And if you have to do it, or if I think everyone should be, no, you don't have to be. But then again, if you are not, you're losing a big opportunity, and you will always be depending on other people to bring you more patients and more business. But of course, referentiation is very important, but I think it's difficult to live only of referentiation. It can be enough for a part of the journey, the start, where you start having your first patients. But if you have the ambition to be bigger, if you want to reach more people, to treat more people, then you have to invest a little bit in your communication. As I was saying before, we Constant Circle as an agency, from the beginning to here, we didn't invest a lot in showcasing us and in our own marketing. But now that we see that we have the ability to have an impact on organizations, we want to impact more organizations, and we want to spread more our knowledge and have more partners and grow bigger. And to do that, we need to reach more people. It's as simple as that. And just to conclude, sometimes I think we shouldn't look at social media or digital marketing as I want to show off again, but more like I want to reach more people. I have here a platform to if I like doing dentistry, if I think that my mission is a good thing on earth, and helping more patients is something that brings me joy, let me try to help more patients, because that will bring me more joy and make the world a better place.
And it's very interesting what you said about because I think usually we are reluctant to. We are reluctant, but I think that social media has already gone a long way, right? And it's not the same as it was like a few years ago, where, like you were saying, oh, I don't want to show off, because I always believe that we all suffer from an imposter syndrome, isn't it? I mean, what am I worth to be here talking social media, or am I good enough to be showing case, or who am I to be saying these things on social media? And it's very interesting that what you said, which is, it's not about showing off, and sometimes it's just about being who you are, isn't it? This is who I am. And I can be completely different or not from other people. It depends, but this is who I am. And also, I also think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but okay, and you are quite cautious and say, well, I think you should be, but if you don't want to be, you cannot be. But the thing is that let's imagine that someone talks to me about a dentist, right? Okay, someone refers me a dentist. I'm not a dentist, I'm a patient. And I just go and see, I just search it. I eventually find myself today, sometimes the first search that I do is not even on Google. Is guess where?
Instagram.
On Instagram. Isn't it?
Me too.
Sometimes that's where I do my search. I search on Instagram. And if I don't find it, there's something strange, isn't it? I mean, why is this guy on social media? Why isn't she on social media? Because everybody wants to it's not that should be, but I think that being on Instagram or being on Facebook is just like an extension of the culture, let's say, or an expression of the culture of your company. And also, like you said, many patients also go to the dentist, not because of the clinical cases, but also because of the energy. Just like Simon Sinek says, that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, right? So the way that you are in your culture also has some impact on that. Wouldn't you agree on that? I mean, so social is not only to sell more, not only to attract more patients, but to make a stance of who you are.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes I say that the digital platforms you have, they are an extension of your physical place, your physical business. Okay, so and if you don't appear on Google, we have a very basic joke on digital marketing that if you appear on the second page of Google, you might as well be dead. No one will find you. It's a basic joke, but and it's like that. If someone recommends me a doctor, the first thing I'm going to do is to search for it on Google, and I will take my judgments, which I'm not a specialist on the case, on the area. I don't know anything about dentistry, and I'm just a person that is trying to find a doctor, and I'm going to judge it by what I see, by their Instagram. I will judge simple things. I will not judge maybe what the person is doing or what he or she is eating, but maybe I will have an impression of if the person is perfectionist, if it's rigorous, if it has attention to detail, and all that kind of things. Maybe they are entering us in to our mind without we even understanding it, but are things that are influencing us to wanting to be a patient of that doctor or not. So for me, that's why it's very important that you show, and more than selling your product, like here is your treatment to solve your dental problems. We have a promotion, or to have that kind of marketing. I think it's very important that you work on your branding and that you show yourself, your culture, as you were saying, and your values in a right way, in a detailed and perfectionist way.
João, without getting too technical, but of course, and you already said a lot of things, and you already mentioned strategy a lot of times. So, but all that strategy, defining your image, your brand, your values, all of that, the main goal will be to grow your business through digital marketing. How can you really grow your practice, your dental clinic, or even you don't have to be a clinic owner, right? You can be a freelance dentist and have a digital marketing strategy for patients to know you as a dentist. How can you really grow your dental practice through digital marketing? Of course, in a sustainable way.
Yeah. So my advice is that you do it step by step and that you define very well your objectives. Okay. So what do you want? First of all, are you opening a new clinic? Do you have a clinic and you want to sell more to more people? Do you have a clinic but you want to increase your prices and you want to have a more premium positioning? So, and for all those strategies or for all those objectives, you can define a strategy. And first of all, you have to ask yourself, what do you want? And asking and questioning is always the base for any strategy of any sort. Okay, so and I always like to do this exercise. And going a little bit back, it's like, okay, so you want to sell to more people? Okay, so if you want to sell to more people, you need to reach more people. Okay, you have to work on your reach. You have to be present in more channels. You have, if you want to have a budget for publicity where you can pay Google or Facebook, the known Facebook and Google ads, to have more reach and grow, have a bigger audience. Do you want to raise your prices? Then you need to create authority. Okay, if you have a really cool website. And when I say cool, it's very detailed, that has a lot of information, and that you show that what you're doing is being well done, that you're changing people's lives, and then you create your authority. You can raise your prices, okay? And if you want to sell more often to the same person, there's always the cases where you have a patient and you say that patient hasn't come here like for 2 or 3 years. That can't happen. You need to have patients that come to your clinic at least twice a year to make sure that everything is okay. That because prevention is always the best treatment, you know. And if the customers is coming to your clinic a lot, or those times, that is going to be good for you. And then you have to be present. You have to be reminding them, either if it's through social media, if it's through email marketing, that hey, I'm here. I'm your dentist, or I'm your clinic, and prevent yourself from being in a position where you have bad oral health. So, yeah, basically, yeah.
So João, I think it was yesterday that I was listening to something from Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm sure that you know him.
Yeah.
And he was saying, someone asked him the question, which is, how many people are working for him just for the social media content? And he says that only for my personal social media content, I have 25 people working full time for me. But he said, well, but that is now because of the first 9 years, he did it all alone. So my question to you is, do you think that all the practices need a social media expert? Because, for example, I find myself, one of my dental nurses, she studied design. And what I see is that I think that we are coming into an era where I think that virtually every small business will have to have someone dedicated to that. That's one hand. On the other hand, I also think that the owner and the person responsible for the culture is probably the most well-positioned person to create the content on social media or just to manage social media. What are your thoughts on there? What's your advice on that for people that are starting and for people that have less time now?
Okay, so I think that's, first of all, you should see what is easier for you, and you have to create a workflow that allows you to do things and to think about your objectives and think about your strategy and do it without being a big pain. Okay, so if you're a dentist, if I was a dentist and having my experience of what I watched in my professional career as a digital marketeer working with dentists, what I would do first was, okay, so I have patients sitting on my chair. I have my clinic. I have a super great and awesome photo camera. So what can I do that doesn't bring me a lot of pain and that I can do it easily? And I would start by photographing my clinical cases, the before and the after. That's the first thing. And we already talked about how important it is. And that simple thing, that seems so simple, but it doesn't happen. And a lot of people don't do it. So if you're doing it, and if you're doing it right with perfectionism and with effort, you're a big step ahead of almost all your competition, okay? Because everyone is trying to adapt and no one knows where to start. And then you have your clinic, you have people working for you, and you can also work with them and try to make good content. So you have to think, what does my audience want from me? I'm a professional, I'm a certified dentist, I have a lot of information that is useful to people. What can I do to get that information to my target? And the simple recording of a video of you talking about what for you is super simple may be a big help for someone that doesn't understand the problem. Like, why do I have what can the lacking of tooth do to my oral health in the future or in the long term? I don't know the answer. I'm a normal person. I'm not a dentist. I don't know. I think that not having a tooth is just aesthetics and a little bit discomfort eating. But no, there's a lot of implications in that thing. And you as a dentist, and if you want to start having your digital presence, and if you want to start getting ahead of your competition, focus on doing content that is easy for you and that you can show to your people. That would be my best advice, is that focus on content. Don't focus on techniques of how can I do ads, or how can I and what hour is the best hour to post on my social media. Don't think about that details. That will come later, and that will come when you have the opportunity to work with someone specialized. Start by doing what you do best, which is your work, talking about your work, talking about the importance of your work, and showing your work. Actually, focus on your work. I think that's the best advice.
Yeah, it's very interesting what you said. I have to confess that I was expecting, and again, judgment, right? A totally different answer from you. I was expecting you to answer that question. Yes, every dental clinic needed a digital marketing expert, and you didn't say that. So,
No.
thank you. I think it's very refreshing.
At what point do you think that external help is needed?
Mm-hmm.
Like in dentistry, I think that marketing is also going through that way. That you master of all, like people that know everything, they don't now they don't serve. So you need someone specialized in each and everything. So if you're a dentist, before you would do aesthetics, you would do rehabilitation, you would do oral hygiene, and you are a dentist, you should do that. Now, no, you know that if you want to give your patients the best treatment they can have, and if you're a dentist, you should work with that goal, then you have to ally yourself with someone that works all day oral hygiene, someone that works all day rehabilitation, someone that works all day aesthetics. And that way, and with a multidisciplinary team which can work together, is where you can have the best results for your patients. So in digital marketing is the same thing. When I started digital marketing, I started doing everything because I wanted to be everything, and then I realized, when you grow older and you start knowing more things, that well, I can't do everything well. I don't have the time. I only have 8 hours a day. If I respect my free time, I only have 8 hours a day to be a good professional. So I might as well focus on what I do good, and I'm going to get along with a person that is very well doing the other stuff. So answering the question, if a clinic needs to have a partner, my question is, and going back, you asked if a clinic should have a social media expert. No, they should have an entire team of experts working to them in a way that is a win-win situation for both. Okay, so and that also answers a question that could be made. That is, should I hire someone to my clinic, a digital marketing expert to my clinic, or should I hire an agency? It depends. If you're a very big group, if you have the means to create a good department, a solid department that has someone specialized on producing content, that has someone specialized on making your working on your performance online, and someone specialized on your website and making sure that everything is okay, and you have someone that has experience to make a strategy that allows you to win and to reach your goals, then you don't need to hire an agency. You should make your team. But if you're a smaller clinic, or a normal clinic, as we might say, and you want to have a strong digital marketing, for me personally, and it's not because I have a digital marketing agency, I think you should ally yourself with a team of experts, even though they are not working on your business full time. The union, or the making up of their knowledge and the time that they can give you will always be better for your business. It's my view. Of course, that can be different views on it, but I think that hiring someone like, okay, I'm going to hire a marketing person, and this person is going to be the all around and is going to do everything. I doubt that there is this marketeer that can do everything as good as a team that everyone is working specialized.
Yeah, because as you said, even digital marketing is, I mean, it's complex, it's huge. I mean, there are so many different platforms. I mean, it's image, there's video, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's LinkedIn. And on top of that, I mean, Instagram now and Instagram 6 months ago is different, isn't it? I mean, everything is changing all the time.
Yeah.
There's always updates and
Yeah, you touched a very important aspect, and something that we now have the ability to do, that is to have time to think, and to have time to be informed, and to have time to go to congresses and to read. And that is something that is super important, not only in our area, in dentistry, I believe also. And as we were saying before, if now I don't have to do oral hygiene, aesthetics, rehabilitation, now I can focus only on a specific area, I have more time. And if you have more time, you can be aware of what's new techniques, everything, the new materials you can use. You can search for a better dental implants provider, and you can, in the end of the day, have a better deliver a better result. So we, as a digital marketing agency, we have this thing that we have someone specialized in each of the different services we have. We work as a team, and we are 8 hours just like doing our job and sending new information, new technologies. Now we have the AI revolution, and everyone in the agency is competing to see who brings the new software that does this better. So of course, that's, if we are a digital marketing agency, we have this environment and this culture that allow us to be always, or try to be, because it's a super fast-paced environment, but to always be as on top of things as we can. As Shirley, and in a dental clinic, you also do that by having people always bring new knowledge to the clinic, which, and one single dentist in a clinic that has his own cabinet can't compete. He will not have time to compete. He will not have time to study. He will not have time to go to congresses and to make a networking and to share his experience with different colleagues from different areas.
Exciting times that we are living now. Huh? So digital marketing can help dentists and dental clinics increase their visibility and attract new patients. But, and you already touched, of course, some of the components, strategy aligning with good strategy aligned with the values of the dentist or of the clinic. But I would like you to talk, how do we make sure that we attract the right kind of patients, because not all patients are the same. So how do you make sure that we attract the right kind of patients, the patients that serve our clinic, that we want in our clinic?
That's a very difficult question, and it's a question that we deal a lot, because since we are the players that put you in contact, your clinic and a doctor, with your target, with your audience, how can we segmentate? How can we go to the right persons? And there's always limitations to it. There's always difficult. But the first thing we ask ourselves is, what is the right patient? Okay, it's a patient from a different social class. It's a patient that has these problems, and I'm specialized in treating people with this problem. So first of all, what we want to attract? First, we have to look inside. What is my clinic? What is my positioning, and who do I want to reach? Am I a clinic that has a lot of treatments and I can do everything? Or am I a clinic that is very specialized in aesthetics, or very specialized in rehabilitation, or in kids, in odontopediatry? I don't know if it's said in English like that. And first of all, we have to decide it. And then how can we reach everyone needs dental treatment. So if we are a clinic that has all the areas, we shouldn't be worried about who we reach. We want to reach everyone, but I think it's not how we reach the people we want, is how do we attract the people we want. And if we focus on giving and on having a good presence, a good positioning, we will end up attracting the people we want to our clinic. But I think that question sometimes brings us to some questions that is like, I just want this type of people on my clinic. I don't think we should try not to differentiate ourselves like that. We are, in the end of the day, clinics are health providers, and I think everyone deserves the right to health. Of course, dentistry has peculiar things.
That's a very interesting point of view. We are, and it's quite fresh. Sorry to interrupt you. I don't want you to lose. I just wanted to make a note here, because it's, even myself, I think that we as dentists, we always try to see, okay, this is the best kind of patient for myself. But as you were saying, I don't think it's sustainable to focus on only one type of patient, right? Because I think that you will, yes, you of course that you may have like a premium segment and stuff like that, but even premium practices, you will eventually treat every kind of social type of patient, financial type of patient. So I think it's a very interesting view that what you're saying, that you should not focus too much on segmentation of people, because at the end of the day, we are a healthcare provider, and you have the responsibility to do the best that you can for the people, for the patient that is in front of you.
Of course, and if you, and I think more than that, you should focus on proving your value. Because if you prove your value, people will be able to afford it, okay? And in Portugal, where dentistry is not so much participated as different areas of medicine, you have to prove your value. Because if you don't prove your value, your target, as you say, will go to a different clinic. So I would focus more on what can I give, and eventually people will buy my service or my care. So yeah, basically this. And I think it's contradictory when people are like, I just want people very wealthy to go to my clinic because those people are the ones that will be able to afford my treatments, because I do high value treatments. I don't think that's a good starting point to a strategy, because first of all, I think that sometimes a bad oral hygiene or people not having a good hygiene can be associated with people that are not so financially well. That is studied, and I think that is something that happens. But oral problems happen in all of the strata of all social class. So more than specifying, I want that type of patient, I think there's a problem that I can solve. Let me prove as better as I can that I can solve that problem. And there will always be appearing people that have that problem and want your solution. So focusing on giving a good solution to a problem in society, and more than I want to reach that target, because sometimes that target is not where you think it is.
Okay, and again, that was a very interesting view, and it really changed some things inside. I think that we all knew deep inside that we should think that way, but sometimes we try to believe.
I was actually thinking, João, do you have to explain that to all of dentists?
Yeah, you should. You should.
Do you have to explain to all the dentists that you work with? You have to change that the way that they see things, just like you explained that to us now.
Yeah,
one thing is, like, we are always talking about this analogy between the hairdresser and the dentist. And with all due respect, with that dressing, it's a different kind of service, because health is one thing and cosmetics is a different thing. I mean, you as a healthcare provider, you have the ethical and the moral obligation to treat and to do the best that you possibly can health-wise to the person that is in front of you, irrespectively of their financial situation. That's one way to see it. But not only that, like you were saying, is that I mean, if it's also not about the financial capacity of the patient, because sometimes, and we see a lot that in practices, We have patients that make a huge financial effort to take care of their dentition, like a huge financial effort. And we also see people that arrive on Porsches or high-end cars that actually they spend very little on dentistry because they don't value it. So I think it's a very important insight to realize that you should, like you were saying, you just prove your value, do the best that you can, and irrespectively of the social target or the financial target that you are saying.
Exactly. And I think that if you want, but it's normal that when you conceive your clinic or your business, even it's a restaurant or if it's a clinic, of course, you always think of your target and you start imagining, I just want this type of people to be here, or that's what I want to see when I pass on the reception. But if you want to work on that, and I'm not judging it, okay, and as we are saying, I think we should have the responsibility to, I'm not saying me, but doctors should have the responsibility to have the thinking that oral care or healthcare should be granted to everyone. But if you want to work on a positioning, if you want to work on having a certain environment in your clinic, don't think about your target, think about yourself. Start by having a team that is super nice. Because sometimes you're like, I just want to have super nice people in my clinic, but then you're grumpy and you treat badly your team and everything is deorganized. So before you're thinking about how can I reach my special target that is super special for my clinic, think about what can I do to create a culture, an environment that attracts the type of people that I want in my clinic. So when my clients come to me and say, João, we are not reaching the right target because people that are calling want whatever that I don't have, or they want a discount, whatever. I say, okay, let's go some steps backward and let's see what are we communicating, because maybe we are not communicating right because we are attracting the wrong people. Maybe we should try and let's do a video explaining better what we do and what is the value. Because if we explain better the value of our treatments, maybe there are not going to be so many people calling us and wanting cheap treatments, because they will understand the value of our treatments. So before thinking about let's reach the right target, let's think about how can we transmit the right message, because then the right target will understand the right message.
That was very good. We have to make a meme on the last 2 minutes of this one.
Yes, I think it's going to be the clip of our show. It's going to be what you just said before. And it's very interesting because it's actually what me and Jorge André always say. You should care about your team. You should care about making your house, your clinic, run your clinic well, and then the patients will come. So the house has to be a sustainable one, so that everything has to match. So we usually make this question: what is more important, your team or your patients? And we believe it's the team. So if there's confidence and it's a good team, a good connection in the team, then the patients will feel that, and everyone is happy.
Yeah, sorry, João.
No, I was just going to add that, and we are in the US before, Manuela, that if my clients ask me this or talk about this, and I always try to say that we as a digital marketing agency, we are not your business and we are not in your clinic and we don't decide what you are, okay? So we are just a means, we just are we just use what you are and we give it to people in the best way we can, with the best practices, with the best quality I can. But I'm not going to be there and be nice to your patients. I'm not going to be there and put your veneers. It's you, it's your work, it's your company, it's your values. I'm just going to pass that the best way I can to your users. Okay, so sometimes when people start like, I want to attract more, or I want to have different things, I'm like, okay, let's think. Let's start from the core. Let's start from your clinic, and what can we do to improve it?
Yeah, that's a very interesting, especially from from marketing agents, because we always believe that the marketing guys are on one side and the good dentist here is on the other side. I mean, we have to oversimplify things, and that's exactly what you're saying. It is, you have to focus on yourself, and then and then the right people will come, right? So very interesting. And another question, and I always had this preconceived, and we always have bias, right? And I am a guy with a lot of bias regarding marketing. I mean, because, and usually I tell my story regarding marketing. I always looked at marketing as something, well, you are just fooling people, just showing who you are not. And of course, that's not marketing, right? But we see a lot of marketing. I don't know if that's called marketing, but we do see a lot of fake poses, unauthentic videos that you clearly see that there's a mismatch between who that person is and the message that they are trying across. I mean, there's this dissonance, I mean, there's this guy, but you clearly see that's completely fake, that makes no sense. And sometimes you even know the person and is exactly the opposite of what he's saying, or even sometimes, and sometimes I even laugh, and I have to admit that, which is like a dentist out of the office, just, walking or drinking a coffee, saying, oh, look at this beautiful day, look at this amazing, something that clearly makes no sense for me, because I look at that, and maybe it's just me. I'm like, who the fuck believes in this, isn't it? This makes no sense to me. Would I ever go to a dentist because of this? Because this smells completely fake. But on the other hand, I have to admit that for some patients, there's the most human part of this dentist, right? So maybe it's just me. But I also think that the audience can smell the lack of authenticity. That's my point of view. Whenever something is not authentic, people are getting more and more accurate in terms of filtering, because social media in 1 year ago is not the same social media as now, because you are being sold so many things. And what is this guy trying to sell me, right? So I think that authenticity plays a big role here. So what's your take on that? Do you agree that sometimes people overrule the authenticity, and do you need to do that? And is that a strategy that makes sense?
That's a really good question. Dentists are not influencers, okay? So their profession is not to influence people and to post on social media. So of course that if they want to be present and they know the benefits of being present, and sometimes it's difficult for them to be genuine and to make a good social media, okay? But we have to understand the rules of the game, and in each channel that we have to know what works better and what doesn't work so better. So when we are in Instagram, people want to see a little bit of a story. They want to see a story from the person or the company that you're following. So I think that dentists, when we try to have a dentist that is famous on social media or that can create an impact, we always have to think that it's not 100% genuine. So even me, I don't have a digital personality in my Instagram. I have my own Instagram for my friends, but if I'm going to do a post, not that I do posts, but if I'm going to do a post, I'm going to think about what I'm writing, because what I'm writing, it's going to be published, it's going to be online, and it's going to be seen and judged by different people. So of course that we should try to focus on being authentic and try to be as much as ourselves as we are on social media, but sometimes it can happen that we are trying to be something that we are not. And with the work that I've been doing with some doctors, it's not that they are showing something that they are not. They just don't have the ability to be themselves in front of the camera, or to record a video, or to express themselves right by writing. It depends from people to people. There's people that are going to be genuine and people that are not going to be genuine. But in the end, of course, we don't want that the message to be perceived as fake or a hoax. So we want to be as more genuine as possible, but it's difficult. And many times people are adapting and they don't know how to do it. And we have to try to help.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So on that line of thought, so when you start to work with the client, which sort of information? I think it's like a dentist. You gather data, you do a good diagnosis, you go home, you think about it, and then you present the treatment. I think it's more or less the same way, right? So, what is the curiosity about that client? What do you try to understand about the client? What are the questions that you ask, the direct questions, and also here that no one's listening to us? Do you also try to gather some information through the back door or something like it? I mean, who is really this guy? I mean, do you do some research yourself? How does that work?
Okay, starting by the first question, I want to know as much as I can. Okay, if I want to do a good strategy, and if I'm going to be responsible to showcase a person, a life, or a career, I need to know as much as possible. And some things I will ask, other things I will see. If I look at clinical cases all day. When I see a clinical case nowadays, I can do my judgment on either the doctor it's good or not at some treatment, and I will do it. But I want to see exactly what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses of my client. Okay, and having that data and understanding exactly what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses, I'm going to make the strategy based on that. Because if I want to communicate it, I will not communicate his bad side. I will try to understand what is happening and not focus on that. And then we most of the times we become very, very close and we discuss that kind of things. But I try to understand as much possible what is the business model, what are their objectives, what they want, and what are their strengths and their weaknesses. So I can do the right assessments. What has been done before that didn't work? I have no problems in asking what has been done and what happened, what was good. Because if it was good, I'm going to use it. Okay, if it's not good, I'm going to search for a different strategy. Okay, so. I don't know if I answered what you were asking for, but I want to know as much information possible and to ask the more questions I need.
And it's not only from the dentist. If you are representing a dental clinic, it's also from the staff. So not only from the dentist that owns the practice. You also talk with the staff from the clinic?
Yeah, absolutely. And we also do consulting. So there's here a thing it's very important, that most of these clinics and these doctors, they are not ready to have digital marketing. So a thing that we started to understand that was happening, it was that we were doing a good strategy and they were receiving good data, a lot of interested patients, etc. But then they were not ready for that success on that department because other things were not working well. So we don't just do digital marketing for them nowadays. We do this integrated proposal that we are going to give you digital marketing and we are going to tell you how you can use that digital marketing to benefit you. And that is very important, because if we are only just a service provider that is like, okay, so you want more leads and you want more patients, okay, here it is. And I don't do nothing. I know that I'm going to be work with that client no more than 3 months. But happily, and I think it's the methodology that we introduce at Constant Circle. We try to be as close as we can to the doctors, try to talk to them as much as we can, and try to understand what is working, what is not working, and then we can help them and we can make long-lasting relations.
Interesting. Okay, so imagine you have a young dentist, and I mean, young dentists nowadays, they already for sure know how to manage social media, and they are already aware of the power of digital marketing. But what would you say to a young dentist that would ask you, okay, how do I brand myself as a dentist? Outside, he's just out of the university, and he has to start a new face on social media as the dentist, as doctor, whatever. So what is your advice? How do I brand myself as a dentist?
Okay, I think the first advice I would give him is don't be afraid. Okay, so don't wait for the right moment. Start doing it. Okay, but start doing it with your head and with all your parts. Okay, so think about what you're doing and try to be and getting what George was saying before, be genuine. Don't try to be something that you're not. Okay, so you're a 25-year-old dentist. You're not someone that has a lot of experience. You're not someone that's already changed a lot of lives. Don't try to be that. Okay, you're someone that is learning. So my suggestion is focus again. What is your content? What can you give to your community? If you're a young dentist, I would be focused on, okay, I want to show everyone that I'm a young dentist that is super interested in becoming a better dentist so I can in the future be of a good service for my community and for everyone that comes to my clinic. So I would tell that this week I had the opportunity to work closely with this doctor who has a lot of experience, and I learned a lot from them. Not be afraid of saying that I'm still learning. And I think every doctor and me myself as a digital marketer, I will always be learning. But my advice is that for them to not wait for the right time to start. So they start, okay, and admit what is your face and tell people genuine information about you, because I'm not expecting that a 25-year-old dentist, as I was saying before, is the best doctor there is. No, I'm expecting from them is that, okay, that guy is super young, but he's super interested. He's always going to conferences. He's always working with the best dentist. And 10 years from now, when he's 35, that's my dentist. That's the dentist I want to go. And that's how you start growing a community, and that's how you start investing in your future. Okay, I think that a lot of times people think, okay, I'm going to do digital marketing and I'm going to be growing a lot. No, you're investing in the future. Okay, you're investing in the doctor you're going to be in 5 or 10 years. So don't wait for the right moment, because if you only start when you're a good dentist, no one will know you and no one will believe that you're a good dentist because you haven't showcased before what's your history. It's not true, because you can try to prove it, of course, and I'm not saying that someone that is going to start at 30 or 40 or just starting now at 50 can't prove their value. But I'm just saying that if you start now at 25, you will have an advance over your competition.
That's very interesting, and it makes perfect sense. So before the last question, I would just like to ask you a question, which is, there was something that you said that I find really important, which is you do some sort of consultancy, because sometimes you just, okay, so you bring a lot of leads, lots of people are calling to the practice, they are just filling up the formularies or the forms in the website, but then the receptionist is not at the same level or with the same culture of the marketing, or you just don't, you are just booking patients in like 1 month ahead or 2 months ahead, or if the patient comes in, no one is prepared. I mean, there's no seduction to the patient, there's no attraction, there's no comfort, the waiting room is not comfortable, there's a long, you just go there, you book an appointment, and the patient is waiting 1 hour, right? I think that's the kind of things that you are saying, that it makes no sense to attract patients and then things do not go right. So, for example, eventually, if you want to think about bringing something for veneers, you just want to maybe like do a mock-up or have like a nice conversation. I mean, so what kind of, without getting too much into details, what kind of give me some examples of types of consultation that you give, providing, or you just want to make sure that the leads that you bring to the practice will be having the same service that they would expect from the social media content.
Okay, I'll try to. I'm thinking of an example, but the one you touched is very important. The person that is going to call my leads, that is, I think, one of the most important things that happen. And from becoming a lead, a person that didn't know your clinic and now knows, and now submitted the form, and now was contacted to schedule an appointment, and now he has to go to the appointment, or he's going to be a no-show. And now that he was in the appointment, now he's going to receive a budget or a treatment plan. Is he going to accept? And he cannot accept, or he can accept. And then after doing the plan, he's going to be my patient for a lifetime. That is a journey that always has a conversion rate, okay? There are always people that at some point of the journey, they quit, okay? And we have to understand what is happening in each of that phases. And what we try to do, there's a part that is very easy for us to track the performance, and from a person that didn't know the clinic until they submit the form, I can see if the ad is doing great because everyone is clicking on the ad. But then when people click on the ad, they go to my landing page or website and they don't submit the form. Okay, the problem is in the form, not on the ads. But it can be a different thing. I can see right away that no one is clicking on the ad. Okay, the problem is not on the website. The problem is on the ad. And then you have to go and see if you're receiving a lot of people interested in your clinic, where is the problem? Where is the biggest drop of conversion? Because sometimes your receptionist is awesome, is a super good reception, and they always schedule, everyone that calls, they can schedule an appointment. Okay, that part is perfect. Your receptionist is doing a great job. But then you have like 80% conversion text of the people that is not showing. You have a lot of no-shows. Okay, the problem is there. What is happening between the time that your receptionist makes an appointment and the people coming to your clinic? There's a gap, and what is happening between? What is the protocol? Do you call it? Do you send an email? Do you send a message to confirm that the person is coming? Do you put responsibility to the people to come to your clinic? And that's just a short example where we try to go and try to put our finger and help. And then if we have that data, and the first thing we do when we start working with clinics or doctors is we are going to measure everything from our side, but we need you to measure also. Because if you don't measure your success, if you don't measure if your receptionist is doing a good job, if your dentists are presenting the good treatment plans, then don't come asking for responsibility that my leads are not good. Of course, it's not this role, but it's a teamwork. But there must be a responsibilization over, because it's very easy when things don't work well to start pointing fingers. And of course, we as digital marketeers, we are always we are the person outside the organization. The easy target. The easy target, of course. And I understand perfectly. It's much more easy to target someone.
I spend all this money in a marketing agency, and I have no results.
Well, of course, the problem is in your own team. It's not ready. To go to a patient journey.
That's super interesting that you implement those protocols also, and those systems. It's and it's easy to do it in the clinic. They accept it well. It's easy to implement.
Or do you think? Because sorry to interrupt, Manuel, because you need to have people with allocated time for that, just to register things, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
From the clinic's side, people to track that. Yeah, we're going to need that people we are not in the clinic, so we're going to need that people from we give the platforms for it. Okay, so we have very organized spreadsheets, and we have workflows that we implement, and we try to make it as easy as possible for the clinic. Okay, but sometimes there are cases where people don't do it, but we try to make it as easy as possible, okay? But and answering, Manuel, your question about how do clinics and our clients take it, it's a case of trust, okay? And when I'm saying this, I'm not saying that we are the best and we always do good strategies and the fault is from the clinic. That's not true. Many times the fault is from our side. Many times we think of a strategy, we implement it, and it don't work. But we always show it, okay? And that's how we create trust. We have reports, and what we do is, look, Dr. X. We tried this approach. It didn't work. We didn't reach the right audience. The problem is, as I was saying before, on the landing page, it was not well built, or it didn't work, or the problem is on the ads because no one was clicking it, and the results are there. We can't manipulate it, and we say, okay, but we are not coming here without a solution. We are identifying the problem, and we are going to make a strategy to overcome this strategy that is not working. So what I'm trying to say here is that there can be flaws everywhere, but if we are going to start pointing fingers, let's look at numbers. Let's see our ad results, our conversion metrics, and let's look at yours. Because what I'm saying that is unfair is when I open my window to all my results and to all my work, and everyone can see, and you're a doctor, and you're like, but I think that the ad should be more clicked, or I think I should have more leads or better price. And I'm exposing myself to that, and I'm willing to say, yeah, you're right. I need to improve. I need to talk to my team and see what I can do better. But you also have to do that, because it's not enough to have good results on the digital marketing part. You need to have your organization well structured to have. If you show me that results, then I can help you with that also, if you want, and if I have the ability to. Okay.
That's very interesting, and I think that's a very important message. So, final question: Facebook or Instagram? No, I'm joking.
Both.
No, I'm not joking. Actually, both. So your question is like a quick answer: Facebook or Instagram?
Is it not Facebook dead already?
No, of course not. No. It's a misconception. Everyone thinks that, but everyone is on Facebook, and I think it's not about a question of Facebook or Instagram. Yeah. They all work towards a strategy and an objective. And the magic here, I think, is to use each of these platforms for a different objective. Because I'm going to give you an example. When I want to, going back when it was not digital, when everything was real. If I wanted to buy a car, I would not see an outdoor with a car that I like, and I would go running to the stand and buy the car and I would have to be in contact with the brands in different kinds of channels and in different kind of ways. I want to see the outdoor that has a beautiful a picture of the car. I want to see the channel, the publicity on television that explains me what the car makes me feel, and all these other channels and touches of the brand with me that are going to convince me to buy that car. And in dentistry, in health, in digital marketing for all the areas, it's like that. I want to use Instagram to show my culture and to show how my clinic works and how good the patients will feel in my clinic. I want to use Facebook because I know that in Facebook people are more willing to get out of the network and go to my website to look at my clinical cases or to read more about the treatment they need. So I'll use Facebook and send an article that can bring people to my website because that will be good for me in the future. And then I will have also the Google ads because people already saw that they like my culture on Instagram. They saw the article on Facebook that brought them to my website, and they read about the team that is going to be taking my case. And then they search on Google and they're like, that clinic, I really love that team, and I really love that clinic. I want to make an appointment, and I want to be treated by them and have a good smile.
It's not like a one-moment attraction, right? It's like a court. You are courting the. It's very interesting. So the last question is, I think that you have partially said something about it, which is you said that dentists are not influencers, or at least most of them are not influencers. Of course, there are dentists that are their core business is being a dental influencer, of course. But what do you think is a dental influencer, and if you think that dentists need to be dental influencers?
We touched a lot in that point, but I think dentists don't have to be influencers, and we don't want dentists to be influencers, okay? But then again, I think they should be willing to showcase their quality, okay? And then they should have people to help them to reach their target in the different channels, as we were saying. So I think that's the most important thing. And can you repeat the other part of the question?
I was just saying that, most dentists, they are not influencers, right? And they don't need to be influencers, as you are saying, because I think that, like we were talking in the beginning, when a dentist is trying to place themselves in social media, they're usually there as well. But I don't want to show off. I mean, but like you were saying, you don't have to be an influencer, right? So there's a misconception there.
Exactly, and you can be, as we were saying before, the Instagram, the Facebook, the YouTube, they give you different ways of communicating, but they are not saying you have to be like this or like that. But then again, you can have a strategy where you know that you will reach a broader audience and that you will create empathy with more people, and that can be good for you. Or you can have a strategy that is, I want to work a specific target, or I want to be like this, and I know that I will attract less people, but that less people are more important to me. Is as we were talking earlier, if Constant Circle, our agency, if we work only with dentists, or if we want to work with everyone, we know that being specialized in dentistry and having dentistry in our lives 24/7 and being inside all of these clinics, we are going to know a little bit more about it, and we can be a better solution. So maybe when we do our communication and using ourselves as a case, maybe we should talk directly to the dentist. And when I'm doing that, maybe I'm excluding other areas. But then again, what is my strategy? What do I want? What are my objectives? And then I can make a decision.
One final question, just that has to do with this, with influencers. Just a little bit of a provocative. What about dentists working with influencers? Is that good for business?
I never thought about that. That's a good question. Well,
because there's a lot. You see it a lot.
And what's your, and of course that I'm sure that you have a lot of stories with your clients and you have privacy, that of course I'm sure about that. But overall, from a generic perspective, do you think it works? Do you think it's for everybody? Is it for a specific kind of dentist? What's your general view on that?
In digital marketing, and when we are communicating in social media, we have a lot of strategies and we have a lot of things that we try to implement to prove our value. Because I don't know if I'm watching a clinic or a dentist in social media. I don't know. I never been there. I never talked to the dentist. I never had him working on my smile, and I need proof of value. And there are a lot of things that can be proof of value. Testimonials. When I see online a person that had my problem and now is happy and she had a great treatment, that would be a proof of value for me. And that would be good. That will want me to be. An influencer is a proof of value. Now, if it depends on the way you work with the influencer. If it's just for show off, if you just want any influencer, you just want reach, and you don't do a good job with the influencer, you're just using them to go to the clinic and say, this is a beautiful clinic, blah, blah, blah. It will not work well. And we have that experience. But if you work with an influencer that really goes through your treatment, that they have a real testimonial, and it passes the testimonial to their community, that is perfect. That is going to be good for your business. Then again, what is behind the message you're telling? Is it a hoax? Is it fake? Is it a show off? Or is it something real? Something that people can watch and touch? That's the thing. So working with influencers, good or bad, perfect if done well, as all the other strategies in digital marketing. If done well, with a good purpose and with a solid structure, they will work. If they are done just because, working influencers is good, call the first influencer you see and give them a free treatment so she can say that our clinic is the best. No, it's not going to work, probably.
Well, thank you, João. It was very enlightening. I loved it.
That was a very nice conversation, honestly. It was very, and we both learned a lot.
Yes.
And it's very interesting to have this fresh view. And by the way, so João, you were saying that you are now, we were talking, you are you work mainly in dentistry. So if someone that is listening to us wants to eventually know more about your activity or is interested, where should they contact you? What channels?
They can contact me on LinkedIn. They have our website. I was telling Manuela before that we were doing restructuring our communication because from before we were not doing many communication and not exposing ourselves because everyone would reach us by reference. But through our channels, Constant Circle, we have a website, we have social media. They have my own. They can always ask me questions, and
it's
I'm always
constantcircle.co, and I'm going to leave everything on the show notes. Not only the website of the agency, but also your LinkedIn contact and all the social media contacts of the agency. I'm going to leave everything on the show notes. And thank you so much, João. It was very enlightening. And I told you in the beginning, me and Jorge André, sometimes we talk about social media. So, and sometimes, yes, with prejudice. So I think that now that we have a very different idea, and I think also that you gave us and you passed this important message that if things are done based on a strategy, based on your values, if there is based on an authenticity, which is something that for us, it's sometimes very hard to understand how to achieve that, but you explained it in a wonderful way. So thank you very much for your time.
And so also something very interesting, which is a very important idea, is that social media, social marketers will not do miracles if you don't do your share. I mean, if you are not willing to open yourself to what happens in your hand. I mean, to give the patient experience, to try to track how things go from your end. And also, João, I know that you are also working with not only in Portugal, you have some experience in foreign countries. So if someone is even outside Portugal, if they want to contact you, you are also willing to talk to them, right?
Yes, and I think it's because of the pandemic helped, but all our workflow is 100% online. We have meetings with our clients online, and of course we go to the clinics, and the presence is always important. But we also work abroad, so that's
and
not
one amazing thing about dentistry is that it is a niche, a very specific niche. But then it's the same all around the world. So we have all the same problems and the same needs. So if you talk to a dentist in Portugal or a dentist in Belgium or in the United States or in Brazil, but like you said, Brazil is a step ahead in the digital marketing already from us in Europe. But anyway, the needs are the same. So it's the same needs. The dental clinics have all the same needs.
Exactly. It's the same target and it's the same business model most of the time. So the message to pass, it's always based on the same values and, as we were saying, and different techniques and ways of getting to the target. So it works really well.
João, thank you so much. That was a very nice conversation.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you guys for the invite.
Thank you everyone for listening to us. We hope that this was also very enlightening for all of you listening, and we see you on the next episode. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, João. Thank you, Manuela. Bye-bye. See you next time.
Bye-bye.